पाकिस्तान में कितने लोग मर रहे हैं कोरोना वायरस में? अबे ये कोई कंपैरिजन है क्या कि मतलब अगर मेरे न्यूज चैनल ये दिखा रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान में कितने लोग मर रहे हैं, आर वी रियली इवन कंपेयरिंग आवरसेल्व्स विद द राइट ऑडियंस? तो I had a question, right? I've noticed throughout what you've been saying that part of your effort, and I do not know if this is part of your effort when you were hosting yours, but at least in our conversation is that, so Prakhar, my point is X, but I'm not saying Y and I'm not saying Z. I'm saying X. Like there is this, you have, I've been seeing this need to be accurate with what you're trying to say and an insistence upon that accuracy. And I understand from our previous conversation as well that this is because you have a taste for nuance. You do not have a taste for provocation. You have a taste for nuance. And that is the nuance that you're trying to get across. And my bet would be that the reason why you landed on a podcasting enterprise is because you understood that this is where I could have nuanced conversation.
Absolutely.
Right? I landed on a podcasting, I started podcasting a year and a half ago or something like that, right? Like a joke before, and then it became like a thing 6 months after. So I've been podcasting for, and when I started podcasting, my mother asked me a question that I think is very relevant to people in general. And she was like, why are you doing this? What is it that you have discovered that other people have not? And my question to you after 3 years of podcasting now is, what have you discovered that the media, the traditional legacy media who is displaying Pakistan ke coronavirus numbers has not even yet begun to understood? Why is it that you are doing what you are doing? You're having complex conversations. You're making sure you're getting across properly. What is it that you've discovered that everybody else has not?
See, to be very honest, I started podcasting. So I'll give you the history. So 6 years ago, I'll tell you. So it has nothing to do, but I'm just narrating a story. And that's the thing. You can narrate a story in a podcast because we have the beauty of time.
Right.
I grew up with two sports, cricket, and one was, my love was boxing. I'm the generation which my father grew, I grew up with watching Mike Tyson with my father. And, I'm only a fan of two people, Sachin Tendulkar and Mike Tyson. Nothing else matters to me. These two people matter to me. I'm very sensitive about two people, Sachin Tendulkar and Mike Tyson. So then there was the era where, the 90s era was the best boxing era. And then the Russian boxers, Vitaly Klitschko and Vladimir Klitschko, the Klitschko brothers took over boxing, and boxing became boring, and I stopped watching combat. Then, because I used to watch WWE for entertainment, then I found out, Brock Lesnar left WWE and he went to the UFC. And then I started watching UFC, and from UFC, I started watching sports podcasts, which would discuss UFC, like shows. And then from there, the YouTube recommendations accidentally put me across to some podcasts. And then I was like, because I stopped watching news as a concept 6 years ago. I got so fed up of people shouting at each other. And this has nothing to do with Arnab Goswami at an individual level. He has a role to play in society. People may not like him. Not that I am a fan of him. I don't know him as a person. I'm just talking about Arnab, the image. I can't watch him. But I was turned off from news television even before that. Because I am someone who was raised by my father to be a truth seeker, and my mother who taught me to be a truth seeker, and even my elder brother who probably has been my biggest influence in my life, who always taught me to question things. So for me, when I suddenly accidentally came across even sports podcast, I was like, oh wow, इसमें question पूछते हैं 10 minute answer देने को मिलता है. ये बहुत अच्छा है. And then I came across Dave Rubin, then I came across Pod Save America, then I came across obviously the giant Joe Rogan, and then as the rest, as they say, is history. And I started consuming podcasts. For the first 3 years, I was only a consumer of podcasts. I still listen to at least 4 to 5 hours of podcasts religiously. Like daily 4 से 5 घंटे में सुनता हूँ content.
What are you listening these days? Who do you listen to these days?
So many. I mean, I will listen to Sam Harris, Science Salon. There is a philosophy podcast called the Panpsycast. Then I listen to a Desi podcast called Brown Pundits. I love that podcast. Then obviously on the non-left, there's a very good show of a friend of mine. We co-host a show together, to Shan Sharma show.
Right.
And then another science podcast I listen to is the Insight podcast. On and off, not very regularly. Then I listen to a lot of MMA podcasts. Like I'm a massive MMA nut. So I listen to like 3 podcasts of MMA and everything. So my day goes in I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of shows. My actual time goes in podcasting. I love listening to it. Like the whole idea. So I got attracted. So this is what I found in podcasting. You can look at a point and you can talk about it for 1 hour without caring about anything. and you can actually I call it peeling the layers. You keep on peeling and you learn new things. What I realized is, like, I'm an avid reader. I try to read at least 3 to 4 books a month. That's my target. I want to clock at least 40 plus books every year. The more I read, the more I listen, the more I realize, the less I know. And it keeps on making me epistemically humble. Not that I'm stupid, but just that I want to know more, and I keep on going there. And that's what pushed me eventually, that I had so many questions in my head that I was like, अब मैं करूँ क्या इसका? अब मैं बरखा दत्त तो हूँ नहीं, मेरे को कोई चैनल तो देगा नहीं. And the internet's beauty is it has democratized discourse. Democratized till the extent कि हर गधा भी आ गया है.
Right.
But it's a good thing because we know who the gadha is now. The point is that's why, because I started podcasting is because I had so many questions. And then obviously I started with a type of guest, and then the journey kept on going. And a lot of people told me, oh, who's going to listen to 1 hour conversations? I was like, you don't get it. I don't do it for you.
Right.
I do it for me.
Yes.
When I talk to someone in a podcast, I love it. I love listening to them. I love listening to their answers. And I don't agree with them, but I still want to. So my whole aim was that here was a platform where people were not calling each other bigots. People were not calling each other bad things. And they were trying to genuinely understand each other. In our old school ways, it is called Uttar Paksh, Purva Paksh. Purva Paksh is when you actually present the argument of the opposite side the way they would present it.
Steel manning.
Steel manning. And then you Uttar Paksh, and then answer.
Right.
So what happens on TV is straw manning. What happens on social media is straw manning. What I saw on podcasts was steel manning.
Right.
And
it changed the game.
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved the idea. And I mean, not that my podcast is not big, but I don't care about what it is. What I care about is that all I know is I'm the only guy apparently who does it. I hardly know people who does it. I was one of the first ones to start it, and I kept on doing it. I mean, one of the first ones in the non-left to do it. And I talk about everything. So I'll talk about cricket. I'll talk about religion. I will talk about politics. I will talk about anything I want to talk about. My whole criteria is I should find my guest interesting. If I find that person interesting, they'll be on my podcast. So if I like a book, I'll see a lot of podcasters, and I know that for a fact because I know that for a fact, that they don't read a book before they call them on the podcast. They just read the reviews and then read the show notes. No. I have a rule that if you're coming on my podcast, I will not invite you until I have not read your book. I read the book. So I will read whether it's 500 pages or 1000 pages. I'll read the bloody thing. Only then will I invite you on my podcast. Otherwise, like for me, this is a personal project which I love. I absolutely love it, and I'm not doing it for anybody other than myself. If in the process other people enjoy it, thumbs up. If nobody enjoys it, I'll still go on doing it.
Right.
That's
at least with my age, people often ask me if I'm a content creator with my podcast. And my whole point is I don't care. I haven't looked at my numbers in forever. I don't care who's listening to this conversation. I'm sure there's people listening to it. I have a significant amount of listener base. For me, it is that I get to ask questions to people I would never have gotten the opportunity to ask those questions to. Right? It's like in one weird sense, podcasting right now in India, where the mindset that who's going to watch a 1 hour long conversation is a networking tool, and not even networking. It's when the transition from straw manning to steel manning allows for the flow of truth to be better through discourse. Right now, we are not stuck at level 1 where we're trying to oppose each other's straw man assumptions. Now we are moving forward. I can sit with the friction of our disagreement. I can be like, so Kushal, build your argument up. And then I can be like, but this is what I think. And that too can happen in a polite manner because we are not constrained by what people want to watch. And that's what you were saying earlier, right? Your approach to your podcast is quite the opposite of what the traditional approach to media is. Give the people what they want. You were like, I don't care what the people want. I don't even want to have a clickbait title. I want to do what I want. And if somebody comes along, they come along. And that is sort of the freedom that you've allowed yourself. And that has, in some sense, paid you back as well. I've heard some podcasts that you've done and they were fantastic. I learned so much. Not even that. Even through just this conversation, I learned so much. I'm curious to ask you, if there is any way, say if there is somebody who's listening to this who's still old Kushal, who's still watching news, who's still absorbed in the lowest common denominator, the low resolution image of the world, if there is any way you can articulate the difference, the delta between Kushal 6 years ago and now through the means of consuming and then doing podcasting, how has it changed the way you think? How has it changed the way you live in the sense of, let's just say, truth as a data point? How has that changed all of that for you?
I think I'm happier today. I used to be very angry when I used to watch news.
Right.
I had convinced myself, which still most people on social media and news media have convinced, that they are in some war. Because when I look at data year after year, moment after moment, India is getting, so I'll give you an example, even riots. Not that riots are a good thing, but nowadays when riots happen in India, far less people die than previously. I mean, data is data. I'm not making shit up. Every day, more and more people come out of poverty in India. Violence is reducing in India, not increasing. The number seems to be spiking because we don't realize that reportage has increased in India because India has become better. 20 years ago, the amount of trouble to file an FIR was 1,000 times more than the amount of trouble to file an FIR in a police thana today. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it is easy even today. We have 1,000 miles to travel there. But what I'm saying is it's better. So when a lot of people are getting pulled out of poverty in India, but the brain still yearns conflict, right? So I think we still, because we have, our brain has a negativity bias, right? I mean, in cricket, Dhoni can take 4 great catches, but we'll only remember the catch he dropped in the match.
One he missed. Yes.
I mean, that's just the way the brain has evolved, because it used to help the hunter-gatherer in the jungle.
Right.
That's how he would or she would avoid all those, sudden attacks from animals or serpents or whatever. The point is that since I've stopped consuming news, and I'm not saying you should be like me, you should watch news if you like watching news. But the point is that don't buy what they're selling. Watch it. Like my wife watches Arnab. She thinks it's hilarious what he does. She actually watches it as a stand-up comedy show. She thinks she keeps on laughing. She's like, wow, what a joker. That's what she says. Right. That's her choice. She thinks it's so funny. Now, after a long time, I actually found some reportage absolutely top class. What is that? Vion channel? Yeah, Vion. I don't know how to pronounce it. What a beautiful channel. I was like, this is good reporting. So I'll call it nice. So it depends. Everybody has a role to play in society. But my whole thing is, if you consume that, but start listening to long form conversations if you want more nuance, because life is not black and white. Life itself is pretty much in different shades of gray. Not that there is no objective truth. It's not like you should allow flat earthers in a physics conference. No, Baba. Flat earthers.
There is a core of objective truth. There is
the core of objective truth. But what I'm trying to say is there are many realms here. And if you are, so my answer to everybody who asks me, why don't you consume news, is like, I can't handle it anymore. The idea of, boss, when I talk to someone, I want to see the best in you. And the whole idea presented on news television is, you are a monster, you are a monster, you are a monster, you are a monster. That's a very unhappy way to live your life.
Yes.
I like being happy. It's very simple. I'm selfish. I like being happy. And the data doesn't show India is becoming worse daily. The data shows India is becoming better daily in most parameters. Yes, climate change I'm worried about. But in most parameters, India is becoming better. We need to create a culture of intelligent conversations. I don't think mainstream media is going to make that. I think India, just like America, is going to go to podcasting. Maybe it won't be my podcast, and that's okay. It could be some other podcast. As long as it's long form, it's intelligent. Believe me, I've heard a few Indian podcasts without naming them. They're not smart. They're just talking for a long time. But the whole idea of a podcast, your main aim has to be that you come from a space of humility. Here, you have to be genuinely convinced that the other side has something to offer to you. You don't have to be smug that, "Arey, aaja, main teri leta hu."
You don't come from that gotcha kind of a feeling. I somehow our cultural zeitgeist in India, every time somebody interviews the other person is, I want to get you. Even in
Without
podcasts, it happens, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it in interviews done by news portals on YouTube where they're trying to get the other person. Like a left-leaning journalist is trying to get the other person, or a right-leaning journalist is trying to get the other person. I don't like any of that. If you want to, if you love India, you care for India, drop the malice. And then let's talk, and then I think it'll be done. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know, but that's how I am.